Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Saturday, the 10th of February, 2024, also known as my Super Bowl bash for the year, which seems to be a new annual thing. You know, yeah, last year I did it for the first time. People seemed to like it. They wanted it again this year. We did it again. Actually did a little bit more of a twist to it this year that was more Super Bowl related that I think actually pretty much worked. And for the most part, a good time was had by all. It certainly didn't go exactly according to plan, but at the same time, I think that we had enough fun that those that were there live enjoyed themselves. I did too. So let's talk a little bit about what we did during today's big Super Bowl event. First of all, we did a normal Level 1 podcast that recapped a lot of stuff that was already going on this week, but also had a big news segment. We actually had a big recap of news over the last week that I hadn't gotten to on yesterday's podcast, so that was fun. Okay, then the first thing we did after we finished the podcast is we jumped into Tekken. And you might say, wait, Tekken, why? Well, because I did a poll during the podcast. I said, what is it that you guys want to see during the show? And the options were Tekken 8, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, or Pal World. And people voted, and Tekken won. So I said, all right, here's what we'll do. Let's pick King, and he's the one character in Tekken who I haven't done a custom outfit yet. Let's make a football player outfit for him. So we did. We actually went into the custom mode, gave him a helmet, shoulder pads, and decked him out to look like an American NFL football player. And then we went into online. And we played for about an hour, roughly, give or take, of online play after creating the character. Much tougher matches than even last night because as I get higher ranked with King, I'm going to fight better people. I'm learning as I play, for sure. Some really interesting matchups with characters like, for example, Jin. No exaggeration, Jin and Kazuya, both Mishimas, have insane juggle capability where, like, they can just do a rising punch, that's a juggle. Do a hop, that's a juggle. Do a low spin kick, that's a juggle. Oh, here's another quick move that looks like something else, but it's not. Oh, that's a juggle. Oh, by the way, 3 different high-low mix-ups. And it's funny because I'm playing with King, and I'm like, I don't have any of that. Right? King has like 2 juggles that he can do, and both of them are slow moves. I don't even have a good high-low mix-up at all, right? I have a couple counter hit moves that can lead to punish, damage, or throw, but I'm playing these characters like, dude, definitely you can see the game favors certain characters and certain play types. I would say the Mishimas for sure, and I would say some of the newer characters, you know, like Victor, Shaheen, Lars, Lily, those kind of characters, they're very, very favored when it comes to not only their movesets and the utility, but the speed and the juggles. It's pretty wild. And I play with King. I like King, but again, I kind of feel like I picked a low tier character who struggles to really get wins because they don't have the same tools as everybody else. You know, I think I lost way more than I won today. But I won some good sets. I beat a Jin that was ranked way higher than me. I think he was like a red Jin, like Genryu or whatever Jin, and I beat him 2-1. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive that I beat him like that. Because at first he demolished me, and then I came back and ended up beating him the set. So I'm learning for sure, but it's definitely a learning curve and a lot of effort to try to get better in that game. And it's going to be more of that. I'm going to take a lot of licks to get good at that game. It's not like Street Fighter. Also, I was drinking. I was drinking my beers. I had leftover beers from last year's Super Bowl event, and I was drinking them today. And I drank one, and I tried to play Tekken. I was feeling a little bit of a buzz. I was trying to play. I'm like, okay, you know, good thing I don't really care about my online ranks or anything. I just don't give a shit. But thankfully, you know, I wasn't terrible, and I had some really good matchups there. So basically, Tekken was like an hour and a half because I made this NFL football King, and then I also played for like an hour. So after that, people were like, well, what's next? I'm like, well, what we should do is we should do Like a Dragon. Because I want to basically unlock the NFL player in the game. And that's going to take a lot of time because we need to go through this optional dungeon where you grind, you get a ton of currency and reward. And at the end, then you can go to the vocational school. You can do some of the quests there, level up your stats. And then you can buy the high-level jobs. So that's what we did. Took us a little bit to get to the dungeon, maybe about 25 minutes because there was still some story to go. We got to the dungeon, did the introductory part of the dungeon. That took like 20 minutes. Then it's like, okay, we got to go back in and do the real dungeon. It resets. It took no exaggeration about 2 hours to get through the 10 stages of the optional dungeon. It's lengthy and it's time consuming, and the boss fights take a while. So let me put it this way. We got it done, but it took 3 hours and 15 minutes to do what we needed to do in the game today to unlock the football player. And even then, I unlocked him, and then we went and did like 2 fights, and we were out of time. I mean, what are we going to do? Play this all day? We obviously want to do other stuff for the marathon. So it took way longer than I had hoped. I was hoping for like 2 hours, and then maybe we could do some Call of Duty, or maybe we could do some Pal World. It didn't turn out that way, okay? I apologize to those who didn't just want to see Like a Dragon today. I hear ya. That wasn't my intention, but it's just kind of how it turned out. We did get the football player unlocked, and we played with them just a little bit, but at least it got done, okay? Then I had already missed dinner. Like, my wife had made dinner to time for like 2 hours of Like a Dragon, so my dinner was cold, and then basically we did the simulation of the Super Bowl. So we figured out how to do it as a sim on the right stadium and everything. And so I basically did the first half, which was 45 minutes. We did 10-minute quarters, but man, with all the time between the plays and everything, it took 45 minutes just for the first half. So then I went downstairs and got food and came up, and I had quesadillas, and I had 7-layer dip. Also, earlier in the day, I did a video of pizza bombs. My wife had made these homemade pizza bombs, which is like dough with cheese and marinara sauce and seasoning and stuff like that. So those I already had made a video of. But because we were so late, running behind, I didn't do a real separate video of dinner. I should have, and I didn't. I thought, oh, I'm going to do it as part of like the commentary of the football game. And then as I started eating, I was so hungry. I was like, I'm just going to keep eating. But it was like 480p camera, and we went off on tangents in the chat and dialogue. So I'm like, man, this totally isn't even going to fit into what we're doing here. So I basically split that off, and I made another video for the second half of the Super Bowl. So basically, today, we did podcast, one video of Tekken for 90 minutes, which was the creation of the NFL character King and then playing with him. 3 hours, 15 minutes of Like a Dragon Infinite Well to unlock the NFL character and do the entire optional dungeon. Okay? Then, the first half of the Super Bowl, the second half of the Super Bowl, and then the last video that I did was DSP Tries It, Mr. Beast Chocolate. And to say the least, I was not impressed. Alright? I went into massive detail about it in the video. I hope you'll give the video a look over on DSP Reacts. It's the first DSP Tries It I've done in many years, and I tried to be as fair as I could without being overly negative, but that chocolate was not very good. Okay, it just wasn't. In fact, it had a really mean-spirited joke on it, too, that I thought was funny, because everyone knows the vast majority of people who watch Mr. Beast are kids. So he puts a mean-spirited joke on his candy bar. Oh, that's funny. That's what you want your kids to see, right? Anyway, so that's all the videos I did. And, of course, I'm doing this daily wrap right now, so I had a lot of uploading to do. The podcast, the Tekken gameplay, the Like a Dragon gameplay, and the Super Bowl sim will all be here, plus the daily wrap. The Pizza Bombs Feasting with Phil video, as well as the DSP Tries It of Mr. Beast Chocolate, will be found over on DSP Reacts, okay? So, various different videos on different channels today. And I do want to say this, thank you to everyone who showed up and supported the stream. And before people go crazy and say, well, how much did he make? I made basically as much as I make in a normal day. I didn't make $1 extra. It was basically, you know, if you add the 2 streams together that I normally would do, yeah, I pretty much was on par with a regular day. So, I'm happy for that, you know. Would it have been nice to have gotten, you know, some extra to help make up for the, basically at this point I did some math and I said, yeah, I'm down around $1,600 this month because of the gifted memberships that aren't counting anymore because they're fake. I'm not getting paid for them. Would it have been nice to make up some extra for that? Yes, but it's not the end of the world. Still had a decent day. That's all I care about. Everyone had a lot of fun. I was happy. The viewers were happy. You know, the one unfortunate thing was that Like a Dragon went on way too long, but in the scheme of things, it was still a great positive day. Overall fun, and, you know, it's not the end of the world. Continue on, right? So that's good, and I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you're watching on demand, I hope you enjoy all the gameplay. It was a pretty solid day, okay? So tomorrow, we go back to the normal Sunday schedule. It's going to be the podcast in the morning here on DSP Gaming. Then we're going to head over to DSP Reacts for the React Show. And then on the night stream, it's going to be more Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, where now we're going to take advantage of all of these jobs. We unlocked the football player, the hula dancer, the samurai, and the kung fu expert. So we unlocked all these jobs, and I'm going to start using these tomorrow night when we play the game again, which will be neat to see that variety. And we got to try to make progress to get to Chapter 6, because when you get to Chapter 6, you unlock Dondoko Island, and that's what I want to do co-op with my wife, Kat, on Valentine's Day this week for Wednesday night. So we have to get to that point, okay? So good stuff. And again, apologies. It didn't go exactly according to plan. I would have preferred to play more games, but we got stuck in what we were doing, but we made progress. Thank you again to those who were there and did support the stream in any way. I really appreciate that. I hope you'll come back tomorrow for another fun day. Fair enough? Thank you all. Please have a good evening. I'll see you in the morning for the podcast and DSP versus the internet. I also got to do all the playlists and everything for that right now, so I got to get going and get to work. So peace out, everyone. Have a good night.